My dream was that you are your own worst enemy. And I said, what? You either run away from the enemy or you kill the enemy. And I knew in that moment that I couldn't do either. And I had been asking, what do I do? I'm my own worst enemy. How do I overcome that? How do I become, my own best friend? The answer was,
Hi, I'm Deborah.
and I'm Deanna.
And we're here. It's our mission to motivate, inspire, and assist you in cultivating your best life ever. We're going to show you how to do that from the inside out, giving you real life examples of our 30 years on this journey. And so that's how we're going to do it.
Yes. And we are going to bridge the gap between what's real and what's not real, and to teach, inspire, and motivate you to wake up and realize the power is within. It's right in us, and we are the creators. And we're going to show you just how to do that.
Yeah.
And
so
we're
interestingly, I had a spark when we were doing the breath work to start this, or just before we started our podcast. And so I remembered, so when I said, hi, I'm Deborah. Okay. So Deborah is not really who I am.
Oh my gosh. I was just listening to a podcast about this. Bob Proctor was talking about it.
Yeah.
The Inspire channel.
Yeah, I saw that last night. Yeah. So I remembered I went to a yoga retreat one time. It was just like a one-day retreat. And, it was all women. We went around the circle and everyone said their name and said something about themselves. So this one woman, we get to this one woman and she goes, I am known as Deborah. And I'll never forget that. You know how you have like things that happen that just always stay with you. Mm-hmm. And so whenever we open our podcast and I'm like, I'm Deborah, and you say I'm Deanna, and I'm like, sometimes it hits me. It's like, that's not really who we are. So if I were going to say, hi, I am a divine, loving creator on earth during this lifetime.
And this is the vehicle that I'm using during this lifetime.
Perfect.
And because we are driven and we are here because of our soul, because of our soul's essence, which is a direct connection to source energy.
Right. And it's an extension of source energy.
We are an extension
yes.
of source energy.
Yeah.
And we are here to live in the energy of unconditional love. And what is that? What is unconditional love? And I remember, we're going to talk about dreams right now, because I remember waking up from a dream one time, and the mantra that I woke up to is that there were two, actually. One was, you came into this lifetime to experience the opposite. No, you came into this lifetime to remember the opposite of what you've experienced so far. And
so, wait a minute. When was that?
Oh, gosh. It was probably about 20, 25 years ago.
Okay. Was that around the time that you had that other dream?
Yeah.
Okay. That you were going to talk about today?
Yeah.
So what is that? So when you saw that mantra, or did you see it in your mind's eye, or it was like you heard it as you were waking up? Because it's that state between sleep and awake that is when we get messages. And
it was this mantra that said, you are here to experience the opposite of what you are to learn.
Okay.
And I'm an experiential learner. And so I was like, my gosh, what I've experienced is conditional love. What I experienced is judgment. What I've been experiencing is racism. And I came here to learn the opposite of that, to
remember, you said.
To remember.
So that's interesting, because a lot of that's, it's been talked about a lot in other podcasts that I've seen is, the remembering. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, okay, one way to think about this is when we are in the presence of babies or toddlers. Okay, so they are all unconditional love, right? I mean, and
animals.
And animals. Oh my gosh. Yes, our pets. Our pets are completely, totally unconditional love. So they haven't been influenced unless, of course, they've been abused. Okay, but usually, when you're babies and toddlers. And I'm just thinking about your twin grandchildren and Cece, the 4.5-year-old.
Yes.
And just how unconditionally loving that they are, and just observing them. So that's how we were all born.
Yes.
Right? We came into the world like that.
Yes.
And it's all the influence, the conditioning, the programming. That's what
we become.
Yes.
Unconsciously. So what we're remembering is to become conscious of our thoughts.
Right.
To become conscious of our words and our actions. And I just listened to, I was reading a comment to a podcast, and this person wrote in and said, I walk through my day asking, what would love do?
Yeah, I love that. That's such a great exercise. So what would love do? Okay, so when you're driving and someone is riding your bumper, right?
Yeah,
I mean, these are like everyday examples. Okay,
definitely.
So somebody's riding your bumper. Or cutting you off, well, I'm going to specifically say riding your bumper. And when I was younger and I was very, rebellious, I guess.
Admit it, Deb. You were a rebel.
That I would tap on my brakes.
You would react.
I would react. Totally
Instead
react.
of
responding, right. And so then what happens is that then they get upset or angry. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that goes back to you. And you get more upset, more angry, right? And then
what would love do?
What would love do?
What would love do?
So instead of reacting, in the moment, you just, like, if you feel that irritation, you were talking about that, about the irritation you were feeling last night.
I was.
So you're feeling that what would we say?
Irritation.
Irritation. When you're feeling because it's so funny you brought that up, because I've been experiencing it lately, and even with you, which because
I'm just like her.
It's so rare.
So actually, you're irritated with yourself. If you're feeling irritation towards somebody else, you're actually irritating with yourself.
Well, and so that's what you have to do, is you have to stop. And first of all, you could just say, "What would love do?" Right now, and that's like the unconditional love. Like, I know how much I love you, and my daughter Sam, because we're in the kitchen a lot. It's so funny how it always happens in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen a lot together. Yeah, that when I notice that I'm getting irritated or frustrated
Impatient.
or oh my gosh, impatience. That's the one that I'm really working on. And it's funny because it wasn't like a conscious decision for me. It was because I've been doing this 2 to 3 hour meditation a day that is coming up for me, to work, to go beyond that impatience, because it's so funny because I see that so much in Kevin, who's her husband. And so it's so easy to see it in
someone else, because he gets very impatient. But he's getting
it's so funny because he doesn't say anything. He can just
uses it.
He flares his nostril.
All of his facial. And almost, I was realizing last night, like, he was reading the recipe, and he...
Well, you got to give okay, you were in the kitchen together.
We're in the kitchen together.
Which is rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Because Kevin's usually not in the kitchen.
No.
Unless he's just warming something up.
And so I just lost my train of thought. Oh, and so he would read something, and he would do a big side, like he would do something like this. And he just makes all these grunts and facial movements that I had to focus on what I was doing, which I was making cookies. And I had to focus on what I was doing and not be affected by his energy.
Yes. Yeah.
So I brought myself to my heart, brought my attention to my heart.
In the moment.
And I actually said these two words. I said divine neutrality, because Deborah and I have been working on that. Instead of judging, we all judge. We were conditioned to judge. We were programmed to judge, judge it good or judge it bad.
We were judged.
Yes.
Oh, we were, and that's how we learn.
And so how do you transcend judging all the time? How does one transcend judging all the time? And so I remembered in the moment, because Deborah and I have been talking about this, how do we do this? And you said, I don't know where we learned it from, but...
It was Sam, my daughter.
Her daughter, a sage. Yes, she came into this lifetime.
She's a young sage. She really is. She came in like that. Yeah.
And so she said divine neutrality.
Right.
What is divine neutrality? And so when you contemplate that, what is divine neutrality? It's like not having a judgment.
Well, yeah, just not having a thought on one way or the other, but just like acceptance. So to me, divine neutrality is acceptance. So when Kevin or I, am behaving in a certain way that it displays our impatience, that instead of judging it or being affected by it too.
Being affected by it or reacting to it.
Reacting, yeah.
So I said in my head, in my mind, I said divine neutrality. And I immediately felt my heart energy center, because I have been doing the meditations too, and it's all been about activating my heart, my energy centers. And I just felt this overwhelming feeling of love for Kevin. And it's an energy. It's a feeling. And so everything that we are doing and how we're feeling when we're doing it, that energy goes into the food that you're making.
Right.
And what I realized that he made a soup that Sam had made just a couple nights before. Sam had made it. And Sam's tasted better.
I'm sure.
And it was because he was so frustrated reading the recipe, and instead of the other thing that you can do is feel love. So feel love, feel the energy of love when you're making the food. I think there was a movie. There was a movie about that.
Was it Au Chocolat? Is that the movie? I think it's Au Chocolat.
I don't think.
No, I always get, there's two that I get confused.
And it was made in Italy too. It was a foreign film. The main actress, everything that she made.
Oh, we're talking about two different movies.
Yes. She made it with so much loving energy. Yes. And so when she served her food to this table of friends and family, everyone was so loving toward each other.
Yeah.
And it was just you're consuming the energy of love. Yeah. And the food tastes different.
Yeah.
And so I went to, I had that experience in the kitchen last night. And so when I woke up this morning, the dream that I had was that you and I opened up a restaurant, and we called it Divine Neutrality.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine doing that? Opening a restaurant, calling it Divine Neutrality, and putting love into every single thing that we make?
Yeah. Yeah. There would be a line out the door.
I know.
Because of the energy of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So back to dreams. This is really a really great dream. This had to have been about 20 years ago.
Before you go forward, I just wanted to go back to so when we're talking about changing our reactions, our responses.
Oh, yeah.
And first of all, I want to commend you on, and Deanna, you do this a lot, where you remember things and you can pull it up in the moment, and where you just had the two words in your mind say divine neutrality. It was
awesome.
Yeah. And so just, having contemplated divine neutrality, and we've had discussions about those two words, that you were able to do that
in the moment.
In the moment.
And I was observing it.
Yeah.
I was observing that I had done that in the moment, and the change, the shift in my energy. I could feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, that's what happens when you're more conscious and you're thinking about your thoughts.
And when you're aware.
When you're aware,
of your thought, you're observing it and you're not judging it.
Yes.
You're not beating yourself up. So that brings me to my dream.
Because I just wanted to mention the traffic thing because we're all driving all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I love to use the car as an example or as a way to change habits.
Okay.
Because most everything that we do in the car is unconscious.
Yes.
Because we've been driving for so long that we don't even have to think about anything. I mean, everyone's done it, right? You've gotten to your destination. You're like, oh my God, I don't even remember driving here. Or how did I get here?
Was that light red?
Yeah.
Or was that green?
Yeah.
You don't even remember.
So, and especially at this time of the year, I noticed that everybody's in a hurry, and rushing. And so if somebody accidentally cuts you off, I mean, it happened to me on the way here, actually.
Really?
Somebody didn't cut me off, but, turned into traffic right in front of me. And that, that happens a lot. It's not intentional. We're all just trying to get through, sometimes. So I gave up reacting to that a long time ago, to reacting to those circumstances. Mm-hmm. So imagine, it's so funny because I'm sure I've done this where somebody does something and I just smile. I remember you weren't in the car. I think it was Sam was in the car and there was a car ahead of us that was, being really slow or they did something, and I happened to, and I was just like smiling and I was okay with it, and I happened to pull up alongside of them and I looked over, sometimes you do that.
I just want to see what that person looks like.
I know. And it was a woman driving and the guy was sitting in there and he was just kind of relaxed and we just looked at each other and I just smiled. And, I could tell that the woman that was driving, who was probably his wife, was anxious, so I could see that. And so I was just sending him love, with my smile and
the energy of.
Yeah. And what a difference. It has a ripple effect. Mm-hmm. And so, so I love that example. But okay. So now you're going to talk about another dream.
Okay. So the other dream, I woke up one morning.
And it was how long ago?
20? 25 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been in my awareness that my dream was that you are your own worst enemy. And I said, what? Because it was like Deanna's her own worst enemy. And I said, what? I'm my own worst enemy? That was the first time that I realized that I was my own worst enemy. And you know what you would do when you were faced with an enemy. Because I said, I'm my own worst enemy. What do I do? Because when you're faced with the enemy, you either run away from the enemy or you kill the enemy. And I knew in that moment that I couldn't do either. That I couldn't run away from myself because wherever you go, there you are. And that I wasn't going to kill myself because I had so much more life and purpose to live that I kept asking, well, what do I do? What do I do? And I was asking all morning. And I was at the studio and I was in between appointments and I had been asking, what do I do? I'm my own worst enemy. How do I overcome that? How do I become, my own best friend? And all of a sudden, between clients, I wasn't thinking at all. There were no thoughts in my mind. And then I heard two words, and they were so clear. And there was no doubt that this didn't come from me, that it came from source energy. The answer was, love yourself unconditionally. So it was 3 words, love yourself unconditionally. And I said, love myself unconditionally? How do I do that? What does that look like? What does it feel like to love myself unconditionally? I didn't know. I didn't know how to do it. And so very one by one, the answers came. I started in therapy and I took a meditation course and I started asking myself every day, how do I love myself unconditionally? And how do I do that? And I can say like 20 years later, and a lot of it is because of Tim, our makeup company, that I can look in the mirror and I can really honestly say, I love you. I love you, Deanna, for the first time in my life. That I actually really, really, really love myself.
Wow, that's such a great exercise too, to actually say that. Everyone, please try that. To when the next time, you look at yourself in the mirror, try saying, I love you, and see how that feels and really genuinely say that.
Feel it.
And feel it.
It's
But I mean, like when you look in the mirror, you're like, I love you. I really love you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love you. And it might even feel weird at first. Didn't it feel weird? No, like you didn't try it.
Yeah.
You
yes.
couldn't even have done it.
No, I couldn't have done it back then.
So one of the reasons that Deanna, that you mentioned the Tim Makeup Company is because our Tim Makeup Company, what we do is we show women how to give their features definition so that when you see yourself in the mirror, you see yourself in 3 dimensions. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole other lead-in. Well, this was,
So, it was like 8 years ago. So I had been doing the Tim Makeup, the system that Deborah created. That's very simple, quick, and easy. And one Saturday morning, I woke up, and it was a nice summer day, and I went into the bathroom.
After having done the technique for how long?
Oh, after having done the technique for a very short period of time. It was like maybe 2 months. And I walked into the bathroom and I looked at myself in the mirror. We always look at ourselves in the mirror when we walk in the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror and I actually got up really close to the mirror and I was like, you are beautiful for the first time.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And I was like in my late 50s.
Very, very pivotal moments in your life that you're talking about that,
yes,
because you've been on the journey and you've been doing the reading and you've been doing the work,
the practical work.
That's the thing is that usually we're all so busy. Even, women that I talk to that are retired, women and men that I talk to that are retired, they're so busy.
Busy.
And we don't take the time to do these little things. And it doesn't take much time.
No.
It doesn't take much time at all. So to do these little things. So I just want to, if you want more information about our Tim Makeup Company, please go to our website and we'll have that link in the description. I don't want to go into that too much today because we have some other things that we want to talk about. So,
okay.
Let's see. I want to talk about, because the weather is changing so much, especially in the Northeast and the Northwest, that, in
a lot of parts of the country.
I know. I was just going to say
even,
that.
Maureen, our sister that lives in Hilton Head, was saying it's been cloudy and dreary.
Yeah.
And rainy.
Oh, yeah.
And for since last Thursday, and they're not used to that.
Yeah. So how not to be affected by the weather.
How not to be affected, because I used to be affected by the weather all the time.
Yes.
So how did we transcend that?
So you just, you change your thoughts about it.
Yeah.
That's how you transcend it. Like I can just think of an example where I had a client who would come in every month, and very stylish, very pretty woman, always, dressed head to toe. And we were having really, really extreme cold weather. Well, it doesn't even have to be really, really extreme, just coming in. I hate winter. I hate the cold. Blah, blah.
Oh my gosh. How many people say that?
So many people say that, yes, or people are in the South and they're like, oh, I hate the heat. It's too hot. It's too sunny.
Blah, blah,
It
blah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what climate you live in. There are always going to be people around you that say that. So we love to reframe it for people. So when I said to Carla, I said, there's so many wonderful things about winter. And I said, drinking hot chocolate, sitting in front of the fire, cuddling, in front of the fireplace with your husband, look at all the
look at all the fashions.
The fashions.
That we
The
get
hats,
to change our wardrobe.
the gloves
every few months.
Yes. That's it. But in the wintertime, sweaters. I remember when I lived in Houston, Texas, I missed wearing sweaters.
Yes.
You know,
and
even
boots.
Sweaters and boots. I really miss them. And it's just such a different feeling. So when you get into the feeling of it, like, you know, and even now, you know, when you wear the long underwear or you wear the cuddle dugs, or, you know, when I go home, it's so funny. I have, you know, really cuddly clothes that I put on,
warm
like
and
lounge,
soft,
warm and soft, and you know, and then my bed, you know, is
I can't wait to get into my bed,
and you know, it's all warm and soft, and you know, I put my little heating pad on. Can't do that in the summertime.
No,
you know, and
so think of all the things that you do love that you really take for granted.
Yes.
And stop taking it for granted. Now, what was Carla's experience with that?
So her experience was, so she comes in a month later after I have this conversation with her, right? And she goes, Deborah, before you get started. And I'm like, oh, shoot, what did I do? You know, I thought maybe I messed up her brows the last time she was on. And she goes, I have to thank you. She said, you changed my life.
Whoa.
And I said, what do you mean? And she said, when we had that talk about winter, she said, not only did I change the way I thought about it, I changed the way I talked about it. So my family doesn't even recognize me anymore.
Really?
And I'm getting chills right now. And not only that, the people that she worked with, because she works in an office.
Yeah.
The people that she works with, you know, she goes, before when I would go in and I would start complaining and then they would all chime in, you know, and that's the ripple. And she goes, now I go in and, you know, I talk about how wonderful everything is. And, you know, and so she shifted the energy of her whole office.
Yeah, elevated it.
Yeah, and
raised it.
I said, Carla, I said, I can't take the what is it?
All the credit.
The credit. I can't take the credit.
Deborah was being humble.
I can't take the credit.
Feeling humility.
I said, you're the one that did the work. You're the one that made the change. I just planted a seed. That's all I did was plant the seed. You did it.
Yeah.
And that's how powerful we are.
Yes.
That's what we're going to talk about is, you know, that's one of the ways in which we are so powerful. And so when you use your energy, your words, your thoughts and everything, we're talking about love. We're talking about, you know, responding instead of reacting on the
divine
road.
neutrality.
Divine neutrality. And, you know, to walk that walk.
And raise the vibe.
And
you know, that's the one other thing that you can say, how can I raise the vibration in this moment? What can I think? How can I think differently about the weather to raise the vibe? Because we all want to be around people that are feeling good. And that are really feeling the joy and feeling the excitement and feeling the inspiration.
So be that person.
And you have to take care of yourself. In order to be that person, get enough rest. Drink enough water.
Right.
Get enough sleep.
Yeah.
And really take really good care of yourself, because that is too self-love.
Yeah. And then also, how about setting intentions?
Yes.
Yeah.
I set my intentions often.
Every day.
And the biggest one is the parking spot. That's what I started with. And I encourage you to try this. You know, whenever you go, like, I can't tell you how many people I talk to when they say, I've got to go to this restaurant or I've got to go to this store. Oh my God, the traffic's going to be so bad. I'm not going to be able to find a parking spot.
They go into that whole spot.
And so I said, okay, let's change it. Let's change it.
Yeah.
My ride to the mall is going to be smooth and easy.
Yes.
And I call on my parking angels. Please, angels, provide me with a spot that is within 5 car spots closest to the building or closest to the front door. And
so funny.
It always happens. I always get a great parking spot.
5 spots.
Yeah, I don't want to park too far. But then sometimes I go in and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for a walk. I don't care where we park.
I know, right? You can do that. But how about when you're traveling or when other people are traveling?
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, the weather, you know.
I hope my flight's on time. Yeah. It's like, you can set your intention.
Yes.
Okay, that everything's going to be on time, that you're going to get on the flight that you're scheduled on, and that it's going to be smooth, easy, and fun and enjoyable. And everyone that you meet you're going to have like this soul to soul connection. You're going to have great conversations. You're going to feel inspired. They're going to feel inspired, and it's going to be mutual. And when you set those intentions,
it happens.
Yeah,
it does. It
just
happens.
like that. It's magic.
And yeah, and
it's not magic.
Yes, yeah,
it's magic.
And
it's not.
Yeah. And if you're going to be with someone negative, like somebody, say it's a family member, that you want to be with because you love this family member, but they're usually like that. They're usually very negative. Well, set your intention. Okay, we can't change the weather. We can't change other people. We can only change ourselves, right? And how we perceive it, how we think about it. And that goes toward everything that we do.
It's immeasurable. It's immeasurable the difference that it makes in your experience.
Yeah, the impact
and the impact of it.
Yeah. So let us know how you do.
Yes.
And
leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment for us and let us know. And any other experiences that come up for you right now, or
no? I think we're
setting intentions. I
think we're good.
Ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think we've talked about a lot.
Yeah,
we've talked about how you can change your life and that you have the power within you to change it. Is by changing your thoughts. First, becoming aware of your thoughts, because we have between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of those are the same ones that you had yesterday. So you don't like your life, change your thoughts.
I know, right? Yeah. It's, if you do like your life, and if you love your life, just spread that love.
Yeah. And carry on and raise the vibe.
Yeah. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We love you. And we're so happy to be here together and to have you here with us. And thank you so much.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.